We have another very special guest, because you know every guest is special on our show.
Absolutely.
And it's a dear friend of mine who I haven't seen in a long time. I'm so happy to have her here with us. I'm happy she was able to take the time to be on Morning Coffee. Her name's Pattijo Shaffer, and Patty's been in the early childhood field for over 33 years. She's a mentor, a consultant, a director, a teacher, and an advocate. Welcome, Patty.
Thank you.
Nice to have you here on Morning Coffee.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, what have you been up to since we last spoke?
Well, I am a vice president for an area, really wonderful area hospital.
Great. That's
good. Oversee some child development centers with a lot of wonderful children and wonderful staff.
Good.
So I'm doing that and speaking when I get a chance to area businesses as well as child development centers about any topic that they're interested in the early childhood field, or businesses that feel that their employees need like a morale boost. Get in there and do some fun things with them.
Let's talk about the early childhood lectures or speaking engagements that you do.
Right.
Walk us through exactly what happens why would I need you? Why would my school or my organization want to bring you in?
There's various topics. It could be that they're interested in curriculum. It could be that there's some health and safety issues that they might be interested in. There's a big thing with businesses right now. Obviously, competition is big in any business at this point. With the way the economy is, and the big thing is employers really need to be concerned about morale, because if you can get your employees really behind you and motivated, obviously it impacts the bottom line.
And they're going to stay.
Yeah,
so it's retention, right?
Exactly, it's retention. It's a big marketing. If you can get your employees out there talking about your business and how wonderful it is, and pulling, like one person talking about a business, good or bad, impacts 10 more.
Oh my gosh, it's like whisper down the lane.
Exactly.
Like, he said, she said.
So you got to get employees that are motivated. You have to get them to have ownership about their own morale, and get them to take care of themselves outside of the business.
Self-care is very important.
And stop blaming the employer for how they should feel. Stop saying to the employer, you are responsible for my happiness. You're responsible for how I feel every day. So how do we address that to get them to own their own feelings? So we just get them to do some self-evaluation activities.
Such as?
It's kind
of like a questionnaire.
Yeah, we do questionnaires. We do some activities where they're actually up and moving.
Oh, like dancing.
Dancing. We kind of get out of the box. I like that part. Out of the box activities that make them sometimes a little uncomfortable, but you need to do that in order to get them to really self-evaluate themselves. And even managers, sometimes managers, kind of need to get out of the suit a little bit. And there you go. He came ready. He came ready today. He kind of, somebody told him.
Half and half here.
And I think employers appreciate it, because I think they're used to getting the blame all the time. If an employee, we love it if an employee comes in the office and says, I have a problem, but I have a solution too. That doesn't happen as often.
No.
So I started it with the early childhood field, because that's what I did, and then expanded it out to employees too, and big employees. So it's been working really, really well, and I've gotten a lot of really good feedback on that.
So how long is your program? Is it an hour or 2 hours, a half a day?
I've done it from 45 minutes. I think my longest has been about 3 hours.
3 hours? Wow.
Yeah, we take some breaks in between there. We break into small groups. Sometimes we do a large group. Different things.
I have a question. Is the owner present when you do that?
Oh.
We try to have the owner or CEO or managers definitely, involved in
Well, the reason why I ask that is because I find that, when growing a business, like we'll pick Wawa. At some point, the owner of Wawa said, I can't make Hoagies anymore. I have to grow this business, so now you have to put people in place.
Absolutely.
And I think that, I hate to use the word recession, because I just think it's money shifting. It's not. But I think when that happens, that, some owners lose sight of their business.
Absolutely.
So when you're coaching, or, you're coming in and pumping the folks up, I think that, it's always, I would like to see an owner there.
Absolutely.
Only because I think that they need to get retouched with their
reintroduced
Absolutely.
to where they started.
Yeah.
Well, exactly, and I think programs like this tells the employees that they're still cared about.
Yeah.
You know, I think exactly what you're saying. You get too far out, you know, you're here, they're down there, and it's kind of like they don't care about us anymore.
Right.
And I think bringing in programs like this and then leaving them activities to do to constantly check in with employees,
Right.
and then coming back, like having me come back a year later.
Well, I think
You know,
it's
and
all,
saying, okay, what have you done with it now?
It's
Where are you feeling about it now?
It sounds like it's really all about opening or reopening up the lines of communication between the employees and management or their bosses or their owners, and keeping those lines of communication open.
Right.
And you're giving them tools and ways to do that. You know, so many employers are afraid to even go to their boss with a problem because they're afraid that what is the boss going to think of me, or I'm going to get fired if I report this, or if I have a problem with this, or if I need time off, I'll lose seniority. So
Right.
I think that, you know, what you're also doing is probably affording a comfortability level between the employees and management.
Exactly, and the other side of it is giving the employer support, because employees, I think, lose sight of that they are still responsible for their own happiness, and that's why I do. That's why I do one of them that's called "How to Fill Your Joy Tank."
Yes.
And I do that based on some of my own life experiences that I've had, and that's what kind of brought me to going out and speaking, you know, to the community.
Now, what's it called again?
How to Fill Your Joy Tank.
Nice.
Your joy tank.
Your joy tank.
Your joy tank.
And every one of us have this, right?
Yes, we all have it.
Joy tank.
Yes.
It's right here.
So
It's there. It's deep for a lot of people. It's way down there, and they don't know how to do it. Children, passion of my life, know how to use it every day.
Well, they're still innocent, and they haven't been touched by the craziness of the world. So.
Right? They
That's
haven't.
right.
They haven't had
That's
a lot of people saying to them, "You're
They
fine.
can't.
You're fine. You're fine."
Or
You
they
know,
can't.
stop it. Shh. You know,
Yeah.
stop. So, you know, I deal with hundreds of them every day, and they're precious. And I have a granddaughter that is 15 months old, and
She's
she
adorable.
is precious and knows how to fill her joy tank every day. But adults, unfortunately,
no.
don't fill it a lot, and they look for others. They look for everybody else to do it for them
it's validation.
instead of having to do it for themselves. So
That's interesting.
they
It is, you're absolutely right. We do.
Do you feel that way?
Sometimes.
I think I sometimes do, but I'm pretty upbeat most of the time. So
yeah.
I choose
I would-
joy in the morning when I get up. I don't choose the dark side.
No, you know what? I think I'm upbeat, but I
Yeah.
just I'm quiet though.
You are
sometimes.
quiet.
Yeah, I think people don't want to. Most of us don't want to accept that we really do look for that validation through other people. You know, I think it starts early. You know, early in school. You know, even in kindergarten,
even at
when
home.
you're at home and you're looking for
Sure.
that pat on the back, like good
Right.
job, and you're like, yeah, and you're looking for that next validation to kind of. It starts to go down until you get that next pat on the back, and it builds back up, and that's how we're doing it. We don't look for it like, okay, I'll go work out, and that's a validation, or you know, those type of things. And
But I have a question for you. I think that, you know, we're in a society in today's world that everybody wins a trophy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I think that, you know, even though, you know, there's things that happen that, you know, trauma, whatever happens in our life, you have to look at the brighter side of life.
Absolutely.
You know, I think that's really, you know, people really need to understand that.
Absolutely, I've always, you know, I grew up on a farm, and
Did you really?
I did,
Oh.
and lots of things throughout my world that I kind of always was kind of like this kid running around and always kind of had
Pretty
that.
free.
Yeah, and then, but then different things happened, you know, in my world that I really started even looking at it more. So I had all these years of experience around children and kind of just loved life. But then certain things started happening in my world that really started making me look at everybody else too. And I thought, how can I get out there and share with people that you only get one shot at this world, this life, and really start kind of to identify with themselves to fill their own joy tank and not look at the outside world or somebody else to do it for them.
Right.
Right.
And one of those first things was my daughter got cancer. Had cancer. And I know
And she
lots
was
of...
young.
And she was 17, going into her high school, her senior year, and had cancer. And she got Hodgkin's, and it was a very trying time. And she went from that particular time, and then she got AVN, which is a bone disease, and had 11 areas that had to be drilled out of her legs to get rid of the dead bone.
It's amazing.
And
she looks great, though.
She did an awesome job going through that. And then after that, got Graves' disease. And this was, they think it was all like results of the chemo.
Yeah, probably.
Although the chemo saved her life, and I would do it again. I mean, CHOP did an amazing job with her. They saved her life. They were wonderful.
Yeah.
But in the meantime of that, I was having some back issues and went in for a back surgery that went terribly wrong, terribly wrong, and ended up with a drop foot, which is a drop foot's just, your foot doesn't work anymore. I can't lift it, move it.
Oh, okay.
So I need like a mechanism to keep it up. So I have several things to keep the foot up so I don't hit my toe and fall, which I do. You can't. Which I do, and my children, my two boys, think it's quite. They can do without it, right? Yeah. So it's life changing, and in that period of time, I was in ICU for 39 days because I got 13 blood clots. I was in a coma
from minor back surgery.
I was in a coma.
With
had to go back in
with a sick daughter at home.
Right.
On top of it.
Yeah, I had to go back in for another surgery at the same period of time. It just went terribly bad.
So you were in a coma for how many days now?
Oh,
39 days?
No, I was in ICU for 39
Okay.
days. I was in and out, the coma I was in and out of. They kept moving me back and forth to rehab.
Right.
I had to learn all of those life skills.
So you had to learn to walk again,
yeah,
feed
had
yourself,
to, right. All
like
those,
a stroke victim.
Exactly.
Wow.
And it was very trying for the family. Went through a divorce, through the whole process. The children suffered terribly, particularly my youngest. It was a very trying time, but through it all, I thought, something
is happening.
You're gonna make it's gonna be okay.
Right.
It's gonna be okay.
A lot of people would not have taken it that way. A lot of people would have probably just crawled under the covers and said, I'm done, this is it.
Right.
So I really think, you have to find your joy and find a reason to keep going.
And through the years, the wonderful years of teaching and the amount of support from friends and family and the community, I thought, you know what, let's get this out there and develop something. And way more people have it way worse than I did. I'm not
sure.
I'm not minimizing anything that anybody else had.
No, absolutely not.
But I thought I'm comfortable getting out there and giving the message.
And you made it. And you made it.
So I really want to get out there and get that message out there to people about that. And in the meantime, I thought, what else can I do for people that experience what I did with this foot? So I'm in the process of developing something for people that have drop foot, that have had strokes, and the university's working on it. It will be out soon so people can get out and exercise. It's not on the market yet. It will be in a couple months. And I'm hoping it's cheap where everybody can get it and use it, develop it for children. Really excited about it and excited to get out there and talk to, companies and just be able to do things for people, and get out there and share. So I'm really excited.
Our guest is Miss Pattijo Shaffer, and she's a motivational speaker, and she's been really filling us in on her journey, what actually brought her to this juncture in her life, and why she decided to give back to her community, to children, to businesses. She had a very life-altering few years, and she's still with us, and she said this is her way of giving back. So it's pretty wonderful. It's a pretty amazing journey that you've taken. So thank you, Patty.
Yeah, it's been great. So happy to be here with both of you, and they're a lot of fun. You guys got to keep watching them. They're awesome. This has been great. I wanted to also tell you that I do have a website. It's called It Takes New Friends. It's all together. ittakesnewfriends.com or .org, .net. You can find it on any of it, which kind of talks about the things that we've been talking about, where people can reach me if they like me to do speaking engagement. And depending on the organization, some of it I do just completely free. Just come in and just talk to it. I do a lot of women's groups as well.
So if you are an organization that's like a nonprofit that's really in need, Pattijo would be willing to donate her services. That's very nice. Exactly.
Breast feeding mothers too. I do some training for them as well. You know, hospitals, churches, you know, whatever they'd like is fine. I also am an American Heart instructor, safety instructor.
CPR?
So, CPR, first aid.
Well, if you need that, she can do that too while she's
exactly.
there.
So I can do that as well. I also serve on the Pediatric and Adult Asthma Coalition of New Jersey. Really great organization for early childhood. You know, organizations, they should look into it, should try to get the asthma-friendly certificate at their centers. I think it's really important for children.
Oh my gosh, so many kids.
Right.
You just had your little one was just at the hospital last month.
So if they're in, I don't know if if your child's in group care or not, but it's a really important certificate to try to get. It gets all of the, you know, early childhood caregivers. They go through a training. They can do it online, but it really makes them aware of the importance of the different things they're wearing, if it's hairspray or perfume.
Oh my gosh,
and, you know, the different things that would impact children, you know, the triggers for children, you know, in the centers, you know, try to encourage parents, you know, to at least make a, you know, statement not to smoke prior to coming into the center, and those type of things. Also, I am a member, and we encourage people to at least look up the National Association for the Education of Young Children, which is NACY. They're good, and Early Learning Leaders is also a really good organization. These are just organizations, you know, that I think there's a lot of awesome ones. There's just a few that I'm mentioning that I think are really good for the early childhood field and to mention. But, you know, I just can't say enough about the early childhood field, and I can get out there and talk about, you know, curriculum.
So when you go to the schools, you are actually working with the teachers, right? Okay.
I can work with the teachers. I can help, you know, directors if they want to, you know, improve the curriculum. I'm a PDS, which is Professional Development Specialist through the CDA organization. So if they have staff that are trying to get their CDAs, they can go online and pick me as a PDS, and I can come in and do observations of their staff so they can get their CDAs, which helps them become like head teachers or group teachers, just improve their, you know, their professional development status, you know, in the state of New Jersey.
Which
you
is
know, if
important.
they would, really important if they're working, you know, with young children. You know, parents, when they're picking child development centers, you know, they want to make sure that, you know, those teachers in there are certified and, you know, better, you know, equipped to handle young children.
Sure.
You know, there's the staff, you know, that I train always laugh because it's 15 steps in changing one diaper. So they're always like, "Oh my goodness!" Yeah, there is.
Just don't take it off.
No. There's all these things, you know, involved.
For
doing that. So.
Maybe that's what's wrong with a lot of them. Their diapers weren't changed correctly.
Maybe so.
Exactly. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love it. I love getting out and speaking.
I know you do.
Love working with children, and the stories. I could come back and just tell you little stories of what children say. It would make you laugh all day long. So I have hundreds of those of 33 years of working with children.
Could be a book.
That we could, yes. Many people say to me, you should just write a book.
They say
the things that they say. So
they really do.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, and you wouldn't believe what they pick up on.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the things you don't really want them to.
What they do want them to do, and how observant they are in the world. That they might not comprehend what it is in the world, but they know that thing just happened.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. You know, Paisley's my granddaughter, and she calls me me mom. That's me mom, and her latest is 15 months old. Her latest is no, me mom. This is what she says to me. So I'm like, okay, Paisley.
She knows the no word.
Yeah, she does. They get that down pretty quick.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
So you did have a miracle occur. I know when your daughter was very, very ill, she was told that she would never, ever be able to have children, and?
She was. And Paisley was born at 9 pounds 2 ounces. Came into this world
a few years later. So
yeah, so it was.
Never say never, and don't believe everything that the doctors tell you.
Yeah, exactly. Just like they said, you have a nice, easy surgery in and out, and that didn't end up like that at all as well. But everything had turned out like really well, and very, very excited, you know, about how.
And we're excited about this. I think this is really be wonderful that this product is probably going to be on the market, and I think you told me you are also designing one that would be for children as well.
Yes, I'd like to. It's the product literally will help people get out and be able to exercise, and they'll be able to in and out. They would be able to be in races or walks with it.
Just comfort, the comfort level to be able to actually have the motion. I'm a dancer, so I know that, I would, wow.
And it's not a wheelchair, it's nothing like that. It is for exercise. It's not out on the market anywhere now. And I would like to convert it for a child size, and so that children will be able to use it as well. I'm so excited about it.
Who are you working with on this? Can you say?
I'm working with a university in the area,
that's fine.
And it's just
are
so
you
exciting.
Are you in the prototype stage?
Yes,
or?
it's almost done.
Good.
I just got to see it this week, and I had one correction in my brain, that I said, "Oh, can you please
tweak it?
Can you please tweak this?" And they were like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, because you have to understand that they are probably not afflicted with what you are, although they're creating this for you. So,
because I used to exercise a lot, and one morning I woke up and I just was like, in my head, I was like, well, I would love to have this. So I went online looking for it.
Yeah.
In my head, what I wanted. Looking for it. Couldn't find it. And so my brother draws really well. So I sat him down and I said, this is what I want. No, this one. And we spent like days.
Sure.
And I said, no, that's it. And so I took it to 2 universities, and one, just really wasn't interested. And the other one, when I was speaking in Orlando in Disney last April, called me and said, and they get like 500 offers in their
gosh, I'm sure.
And they picked 20, and they called me last April when I was in Disney and said, we're taking it.
Nice.
And I
That's
was
great.
so excited. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so they've been working on it for a year, and it's ready to go live. And I've been working with some other people to try to, we're not there yet, but looking at trying to patent some of the the pieces on it. And take it live. And so
does it have a name yet?
I don't have a name yet. I don't know what to call it. I'm struggling with that. And
the PJ something.
Something. I'm not sure what to call
funny.
it. And so hopefully I can get some people to help me along the way with it, and we can get it going. I want to make it light, and I want to make it so it's
portable,
hackable, and
comfortable to wear.
Yeah, and get it out there, for people to be able to use. And I'm really excited about it. It's something I want to be able to, again, give back, because this has been so frustrating for me to have to live with, and it's permanent, and it shrinks your leg because you can't use your muscle.
Right.
And I'm just so excited to be able to see people out there using it. Once people see it, they're going to be like, when the engineers were working on it, they said to me, I can't believe nobody's thought of this before. Why didn't we think of this before?
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about it. I just can't wait for people to see it. I said, I get the first one.
Of course you do.
So excited. So, yeah.
So where can people find you?
They can find me at ittakesnewfriends.com.
And we always like new friends.
Yes, and it's spelled just like that, itsnewfriends.com. So I'm really excited about it, and I hope I can come back again and see you.
You can, anytime.
Charlene, I knew before, but now I have a new friend here.
That's right, see, new friends.